Hey guys, I wanted to make a short video. Well, I don't know how short it'll be. Um, Not too long though. Uh, so I watched this video by Michelle Phan. I think that's how you say her name. I don't really know how to say her last name. But I know that she's like a makeup artist and stuff. Like she does makeup videos and stuff like that. Um, and I just watched her one video. I don't know if it was like how new it is, but I just watched it and it kind of like shines some. It's called Why I Left, and it's actually really good. It's I can't even explain everything that happens in the video. Basically, she explains like how she's been driven to success, but her success and wanting to basically please everybody has made her forget herself, and just a lot of stuff that goes on, and it really touches me because I feel like a lot of people go through that. I feel like I go through that. Um, And then it really tears you down. It gives you anxiety, it gives you stress, it makes you depressed. Like, it does a lot of things to you that you wouldn't think that normally you would feel or go through. Um, but basically, I want to talk about it because it kind of got me thinking, like, on another subject that, you know, okay, if you've watched a YouTuber for years and they start to change, they start to develop into something else. Like they start to, I don't know, like they post less or just something. I don't even know. I can't even explain it. Just if you can tell that they've changed, like it's like I feel like when I notice that in a YouTuber that I've watched, I feel like I don't get pissed off at them. I don't get mad or whatever because they post less or because they, I don't know, are doing different things or it's like because I know that under all of that, even before I watched this video, like just because I know because it's me, like I know as a person that goes through this, not necessarily as doing videos or anything like that, but just the fact of, I have to put on this mask and this face basically every day, of my life around certain people and but truly I'm not happy. I'm going through a lot of shit, but I have to try to stay happy when I go to work, when I'm around certain people, so that I don't have to get bombarded with all these questions or what's wrong? Are you okay? Like, I don't want to hear that all the time. And I think it's the same thing with YouTubers, like after a while, and it's the same thing with famous people. Like, it's like, I feel like some people think that YouTubers, celebrities, people that are in like the limelight, that they're not normal people. Like they don't have a right to have feelings. They don't have a right to be mad, to be frustrated, to have mental disorders, to just do certain things. Like I just don't understand why we forget that people that are famous and are more not successful, but just more like in the light than we are. Like they're more popular in a way. Like I don't understand why people think that they aren't entitled to have issues. Like I feel like with people that are in that, they have more of an entitlement to have issues because they have a lot of shit going on. I'm not saying like people that are like us, that are like normal, not normal, but people that are not famous, like that we don't have issues. Because I have issues, my girlfriend has issues, and we're not famous. But it's just I feel like I get upset because it's like, why are you being so hard on these people? Like on especially famous people, like they have this thing where people just think like, oh, they need to be like this all the time. Like no, they don't. Like they can have breakdowns, they can get mad, they can get angry, they can say shit if they fucking want to. Like they don't why is it because they're famous they don't have a right to say things that they want to say or do things that they want to do? Like that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like why is it that when you become famous all of a sudden you're not a normal person? Like, and I think people forget about that. Like, I understand that they're not technically normal in a way because, they make like all this money and everything else, but as a human being, they're normal. They're just like everybody else, and they have every right to feel different and to feel not positive and happy all the time. Like, people always expect people that are famous to be these, like, crazy, like, positive role models, and it's like, why? Like, to be honest, if I'd rather see someone be open and be like their true self, whether that's them being depressed at some point, being angry at some point. Like, I want to see the true person. I don't want to see some fake ass people up on stage saying all this positive shit, which I'm not saying that they're not feeling that way, or they're faking it, like that's not what they think. But I want to see some shit. I want to be like, you know what? You're a normal person just like everybody else. Like, I don't want, like, I feel like it sucks that they get sucked into this whole, society thing with the fame, with being in fame, being celebrity, that they, it's like, it's not that they forget, because they don't, because they get anxious, they get depressed, they get upset, because they're hiding who they really are to be this, like, robot, to be positive all the time. And I don't think that that's a right thing to do. Like, I think that when people get pissed off, like, yeah, there's certain things that people, that regardless if you're famous or you're not famous, you shouldn't do. I'm not giving them an excuse. If you murder somebody, you rape somebody, you, like, beat somebody up, you do shit like that, yeah, that's unacceptable in any light. You know what I mean? Like, it's unacceptable for you to do any of that shit, whether you're famous or whether you're not. But at the same time, people have a right to get angry. They have a right to be depressed. They have a right to say shit that they need and want to say, that is building that's suffocating them. Like, I just think that it just sucks, because it's like, to be honest, like, I wouldn't mind being famous, to be honest. Like, it's not something that I hate, but at the same time, I wouldn't let society get to me. And I'm not saying that people that they get shadowed by this, like, big celebrity, I don't even know, suction cup, that they are letting this happen to them, because it is hard. Like, I'm not saying it's not hard to, you know, walk away from something, because I know that in that industry you have to kiss ass all the time, because if you don't, you're not going to get anywhere. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying, I mean, there are good routes, but the thing is the way that the good routes that it is to take to get successful in that industry, it'll take longer for you to do it the good way than it will the bad way, unfortunately. And the thing is that if you're in a rush to get famous, that is the worst thing you could do to yourself, is to rush yourself into it, because you need to take it one step at a fucking time, to be honest. And I'm not even famous, and I know these things. Like, you have to take it, but it's with everything in life. You have to take it one step at a time, because if you go and you jump into something and you think that it's going to happen right away, it's not. You have to take it one step at a fucking time, because then you're going to get into drugs, you're going to get into sleeping with people that you don't want to sleep with. And that's with everything. That's with everything. But it happens more so in that industry. And the sad part about it is that people end up getting down that bad road when they become famous. And guess what? They get sucked into all that shit, and then they can't say what they want. They basically are reading a script the entire life. And then people wonder why celebrities kill themselves, why they overdose on drugs, why they, I'm not saying it's okay, but why they murder people. Like, you just don't, it's like, people wonder, and it's like, I don't wonder. Like, I realize why. Like, I fucking know why. And I think it's because I have been there. I'm not, okay, I've never killed anybody, or, tried, well, I mean, I've tried to kill myself, but I've never, like, tried to kill somebody. But the thing is that I've been there. I've been at that low where it's like, I feel like I have to play this part of something that isn't me, and I don't like it, you know? And I think that, it's hard, because it's like, I feel bad for celebrities sometimes, because it's like all, like, not saying everybody, like, I know there's people out there that think like me, that realize that this isn't right, and they know that they're not feeling okay. But the thing is that there are a lot of people out there that are like, oh, well, you're getting angry, so you're a dick, and then they stop following them. And it's like, why? Like, you're a dick and people still are your friends, so I mean, why does it matter? Like, I see it. Like, I see when someone is struggling, I can see it. Like, they don't have to be, like, basically putting it out there for everyone to know that they're struggling. Like, I can just tell. Like, especially when people change, like, I mean, it is for the better at some point, you know? It is for the better. But sometimes it's not, and you can tell, and it's like, it's just for people to be so selfish and be like, oh, well, you've changed. Like, I'm not gonna watch you anymore, or I'm not gonna follow you. Like, that's fucked up, and I'm sorry, and I feel like people that do that are fucking assholes. Like, if you really cared about these people, like, that they are, even though they're famous, you would stick around regardless. You would want them to get help. You would want them to feel better, and that's all I want. Like, for people that are famous, like, even if I'm not, what was that? Anyway, even if I'm not big on them, like, if I'm not fucking flying here. Anyway, even if I'm not like big on them, even if I don't follow them, you know, or whatever, if I could tell that that person's struggling, all I want is for them to get help. I don't want them to feel like just because they're famous that they, you know, like that they can't be themselves, because that just really pisses me off. Because a lot of time in my life I wasn't able to be myself, and I'm still not fully able to be myself because I'm scared of what people are going to think of me. So the point is that I don't like when other people go through that, because I know how it feels. And I've been feeling like this forever now about this whole famous thing, and how people expect you to be a certain way more so in the industry, and it just frustrates me so bad. Like, don't get me wrong. Okay, so the things that Justin Bieber has done, and I know I'm getting onto this, I know that some of the things he's done, like, you know, beating up fans and doing that shit, that's completely uncalled for. You know, speeding off, like him being rebellious, like, yes, that him doing that shit and hurting people, that's not okay. But you have to think about it in a deeper perspective. You have to think about what this guy is going through. Like, he shot up so quick. He was like a million and out, like probably the first week that one time came out. And ever since then, he's been stressed. He's been having to come up with music all the fucking time. He's had to stay relevant. He hasn't really had a normal childhood life. Like, he's been in the limelight since he was like, what, like, I don't even know, like, what, a teenager, like a young teenager, if that. Like, he's been in the limelight since then. Like, he hasn't really had a time to grow up and be himself. So yes, the reason why he's rebelling now is because he didn't have a chance to. I thank God that I was rebelling when I was rebelling at my age, because I am more responsible now. But the problem is that when you have, I'm not saying for everybody, but when you have famous people and they come in as kids and then they have to live this life of being famous, they don't have time to do all that shit because they're always doing something. So when they finally do have the chance to do it, then it's going to be really bad, and it's going to be at the point of their life where they need to be mature. So I think that goes on with a lot of famous people that are, you know, and it's not their fault. It's not like, oh, because everybody needs to rebel. I'm sorry, but everybody has to go through that stage of life. But the thing is that if you eliminate that when they're supposed to have it, then you're just gonna fuck them up. And I think that's what Justin's going through. And I know that I've said things about him, but I mean, honestly, I do like his music. I do. I think that his music's really good. I think that, you know, not all of his songs, but I think that, you know, as a whole, I think he's made some really good music. And, you know, I'm not like obsessed over him or anything like that, but do I feel like he is hiding? Do I feel like he is having to be behind this wall because of what lifestyle he's in? Yeah. I feel like he can't truly be himself because he has this huge fan base that if he did anything different, that they would be pissed. And it goes with this thing when he fucking cut his hair. Like, all these girls were threatening to kill themselves. Some girls probably did. They were cutting themselves. Like, that's fucking ridiculous to put on somebody just because they cut their hair. Like, how crazy do you have to be to do that? To fucking do that shit. So what? He cut his hair. Big fucking deal. To be honest, I like it better. So, who the fuck cares that he cut off his fucking hair, or just whatever the case is? And I know that I'm getting on this whole Justin Bieber rant, but he's like the main thing, to be honest. And he's like the prime example of him not being able to do shit because his fans are fucking psychotic. And I don't give a shit if people come at me. I really don't care. Because if you are getting defensive, then you know that it's fucking true. You know for a goddamn fact that if you are one of the people that get pissed off when your celebrity icon does something different, you go all stupid, then you know you're fucking wrong. That's why you'd be getting defensive with me. So if you want to get defensive, that's fine. I could give a fuck less, to be honest. But my thing is, and I'm trying to get out there, that famous people are people. They're still human beings. They still deserve love and caring and acceptance and everything else that normal people, well, people like me and, you know, people that aren't rich deserve to have, regardless of the fact that they're famous. And I really do feel bad for people in that, you know. And I know there are people that don't go through that, that are famous, that have, you know, I mean, I'm not saying they haven't gone through hard times, but they're not as sucked into the industry as others, for whatever reason. But that doesn't mean that those people haven't gone through shit. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't gone through shit in their life. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's kind of like, I'm gonna probably end this short. I'm probably gonna end this soon, but I just want to make a video about it because it's just been like, that kind of reminded me of how I've been feeling about that subject. And I know it's not like something that I should be worrying about because it's not, it is a big deal, but it shouldn't be something, I'm not really stressing over it. It just bothers me because it's like, you're treating these people like they're some type of like extraterrestrial like being, and that they're like gods, and that they have no right to feel a certain way because they're famous, which I think is totally ignorant and is completely selfish on fans' parts. Like, if a famous person, like if I followed somebody and they got pissed off and they said things, or they were depressed and they weren't around as much or stuff like that, like I wouldn't be mad at them. I wouldn't start following them. I mean, if they killed somebody, raped somebody, or shit like that, then yeah, of course I'd be pissed off, because I would be pissed off at anybody for that, honestly. But the thing is that if they're gonna act out at certain times because they're stressed out, I'm gonna understand, because you know what? I do it. Normal people do that shit, you know? And it's the same thing with, you know, with Robin Williams, and I'm gonna get into a whole nother video about that. But basically, you know, everybody looked at him, even I did, and that's what hurts me, is that everybody looked at him and thought he was so happy. And then all this shit came out that he killed himself and he had depression, and you didn't even fucking know. You wouldn't even know. And that's the thing, is that people have to stay vigilant on people. Like, they have to really pay attention, because then shit like this happens because people don't realize that just because they look happy on the outside, that they're really not, you know? And towards the end there, I kind of could tell that something was up with him, and it's the same thing with, like, Jim Carrey. Like, all these people that are really, really funny, it's like, I kind of watch out for, because it's like, I'm not saying they can't really be, like, funny people or anything like that, but people usually hide behind that when they're feeling something darker. And that's what I go through. So it's kind of like, I understand how that feels. But anyway, to end this video, basically, I just feel like it is unfair for people to make celebrities to be these, like, gods, and that they can't feel shit. So that's my opinion on it, and I think that we as a whole need to start being more supportive of our, like, celebrities, and understanding that just because they're famous doesn't mean that they are entitled to feel shit. So, but that's my view on it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.